Whatever you were about to do next, let it wait. Let the room grow quiet around you, because I am speaking now, and I am speaking to you. Not to a crowd, not to whoever happens to be near. To you. You did not come upon these words by accident, and they did not reach you a day early or a day late. I arranged this hour long before you woke into it. You have been waiting for a sign. Say it honestly, at least to me. You have asked for one in the late hours when no one was awake to hear you ask. This is it. Not a light in the sky. My voice arriving where you actually live, saying the thing you have needed someone to say out loud. Something is stirring in you already. A warmth in the chest. A tightness in the throat. A trembling you did not ask for and cannot explain. Do not be afraid of it. That is not fear rising in you. That is my spirit setting his seal on these words, confirming they have found the right heart. Your body understands this before your mind agrees to it. I am moving through the place where you are standing. I am touching the walls of it. I am clearing the air of it. What has been hanging over your head for longer than anyone around you realized is coming down. Because I have declared a beginning here, and nothing I declare returns to me empty. I want you to hear the first thing plainly, before anything else, because everything I say after this rests on it. I saw you, not the version of you that other people get. The real one. The one who has been holding this whole thing together with both hands while telling everyone that things are fine. I saw the tears you were careful about. The ones you cried facing away, or with the water running, or in the dark where they would not be counted by anyone. I heard the prayers you whispered when you were not sure anyone was listening. The ones that were barely more than a name said out loud into an empty room. I heard the ones you could not finish. I heard the ones that were only crying with no words attached. And those reached me faster than the careful ones ever did. I watched you get up on the mornings when there was nothing left in you to get up with. I watched you keep going after the strength was gone, running on something you could not name. That was me. That was my hand under you on the days you thought you were carrying yourself. I saw you stay faithful when the people around you did not. I saw you keep your word in a season when breaking it would have cost you nothing and no one would have blamed you. I saw you keep believing when everything in front of your eyes was telling you to stop. None of it went unnoticed. Heaven does not lose track of things, and I know what it did to you. There were nights you decided I had stopped listening, not out of rebellion, out of exhaustion. You looked at how long you had been asking and how little had visibly changed, and something in you quietly concluded that your name had slipped off the list. I am telling you now that it never did. What you took for my silence was my working in a place you were not given permission to see. Today that changes. Today is the day of my answer. Every prayer you sent up is coming back to you, and it is not coming back as a small comfort or a kind feeling that fades by evening. It is coming back as a turning. Everything you released into the air over the years has been held, gathered, and kept, and now it is returning to you with weight. Understand what I am offering because you have made yourself small in this and I want to correct it. You have been asking me for relief, a little more room, enough to get through the month, enough to stop the ache for a while. I am not offering you relief. I am offering you restoration, and those are not the same thing. Relief manages a wound. Restoration rebuilds the thing that was broken. What I am doing in your life is not repair work on the surface. I am going down to the ground of it. Where there has been sickness, I am bringing health. Where there has been lack, I am bringing supply. Where there has been loneliness, I am bringing people who will actually stay. Where there has been sorrow, I am bringing a joy that does not depend on the day going well. Where there has been confusion, I am bringing a clarity that will surprise you with how simple things become. It is as though I have taken your life into my hands and begun to build it again from the foundation. Not with the same materials. The old ones broke, and I will not hand them back to you. This time I am building with my word, which has never once failed, and with my love, which does not run out on you when you disappoint yourself. And what I restore never comes back in the condition it was lost in. It comes back stronger, with more in it than it had before. I know what you are doing right now, and I want to answer it before it grows. You are wondering whether this is really meant for you. You are looking for the reason it must belong to somebody else who deserves it more. That is not humility. That is the voice that has been talking you out of things for years, and I want you to stop letting it speak first. This is not being said over a crowd that you happen to be standing in. This is being said over you, the exact thing you cannot fix and cannot stop thinking about. I know it by name, and I brought you here because I intend to deal with it. But hear this too, because it matters. What I am giving is not taken by standing still. You have to reach for it. Not with your hands, with your faith. A gift held out and never received stays in the giver's hand. And I have been holding this one out for longer than you know. So reach, not later. Now, while my voice is clear and your heart is soft and the room is still quiet, if you believe these words were meant for you and not for someone standing near you, let me hear your amen. Before I show you what is ahead, I want to settle something behind you, because you cannot carry the new season while you are still ashamed of the old one. You believe the last years were wasted. You have done the arithmetic in your quiet hours and concluded that too much time went into a road that led nowhere. Let me tell you what I did with those years. I do not waste anything that happens to a life I love. Not the delay, not the loss, not the door that closed in your face when you had already begun to hope. Every tear you cried was collected and kept. Nothing you went through fell to the ground. What you called wasted, I called seed. It went into the dark, it stayed buried longer than you thought reasonable, and it was never lost. It was growing where you could not watch it. The rejection that humiliated you taught you to walk without applause. The season of lack taught you to lean on me for the smallest things. The betrayal, painful as it was, taught you to know the difference between a person who is loud and a person who is loyal. None of that could have been given to you in comfort. It had to be built. So what was aimed at you to break you became the raw material of what I am building. That is not a comfort I am offering you to soften a bad memory. It is what actually happened, and one day you will look back and see the shape of it clearly. And now I'm going to tell you something that will explain years of your life in a single breath. Listen carefully, because you have been fighting on one level while the real trouble sat on another. You have wondered why it has been so hard. Not the ordinary difficulty that belongs to every life, the strange kind. The way a door would open just far enough for you to hope, then close for no reason anyone could name. The way the person who could have helped you changed their mind overnight. The way you worked harder than the people around you and finished the year in the same place you started it. You began to suspect the fault was in you. You decided you must be missing something everyone else was given. You were not. There was a seal over your life. I use that word deliberately. A seal is a closing placed over something to keep it shut. 3 of them were set over you, and each one covered an area where I intended to bless you. They were not put there because I stopped caring, and they were not put there because you failed. But they have been holding back what belongs to you, and today, one at a time, I am breaking them. The first seal was set over your provision. This is the one that has cost you sleep. This is why supply came in and went out again before you could breathe. This is why the opportunity you were promised dissolved at the last moment. This is why you have worked with both hands for years and never once got ahead of the weight. You have blamed yourself for that. You have called yourself foolish with money, or unlucky, or slow. That was not the truth of it. Something was sitting on the mouth of your supply, and no amount of effort on your side was going to move it. Understand what that seal was never meant to be. It was never meant to be permanent. It was a season, and a season has an end written into it from the beginning. There was a man who lost everything in a single day. His property, his standing, his health, the people he loved. His friends came and sat with him and explained at great length that he must have earned it. He had not. What was happening to him was not punishment, and it was not the end of him. When the season closed, what he had was doubled, and he lived long enough to see the whole thing turned around. The end of his story was better than the beginning of it, and the middle nearly killed him. You have been living in the middle. That is all. The middle is not the verdict. And I want you to hear what I saw in you during that season, because you have never given yourself credit for it. You kept believing when your hands were empty. You kept giving out of a supply that was already thin. You thanked me on days when there was nothing in front of you to point at as a reason. Do you understand how rare that is? Anyone can trust me with a full house. You trusted me with an empty one. That was the test. Not a test I needed in order to learn something about you because I already knew. A test you needed so that when the abundance comes, you will not mistake it for something you produced. You have been made ready to hold what is coming without being ruined by it. Many are given plenty before they are strong enough to carry it, and it destroys them. I would not do that to you. You passed. And because you passed, the first seal breaks today. Your provision is released. I'm not telling you to expect a fortune to fall out of the sky, because I rarely work that way, and you would spend your days staring upward and miss what I am actually doing. I am telling you that the pressure crushing your chest at night is coming off. Supply is going to reach you from directions you were not watching. Work will open where you did not apply. A debt will be reduced or quietly forgiven. Something you had braced yourself to pay will not come due. Someone with no reason to think of you will think of you anyway, and act on it. Watch for it in the days just ahead and do not explain it away when it comes. You have a habit of calling my provision a coincidence, and I want that habit broken along with the seal. Do not let doubt back in through the door faith just opened. The moment you begin to believe this, something will whisper that nothing has actually changed, that today was only a feeling, that tomorrow will look exactly like yesterday. That voice is not mine. Mine gives you a step to take. That one only tells you to sit back down. Stay standing. What has been closed for years does not always look different in the first hour. Let me hear you say amen if you believe your season of lack is ending. Now the second seal, and this one has cost you more than money ever did. The second seal was set over your companionship. This is why you have been alone in rooms full of people. This is why the ones who should have understood you did not, and the ones who did understand you left. This is why the same kind of person kept arriving in your life wearing a different face, taking what you had and leaving you thinner than they found you. You have wondered what is wrong with you that people do not stay. Nothing is wrong with you. The right ones were being held back, and the wrong ones came in through a gap that is closing today. I know what that season did to you. You learned to need less. You learned to answer the question without answering it. You built a version of yourself that is pleasant and easy and slightly out of reach. And it works so well that even the people who love you do not know where you actually live. That was not pride. It was protection. But what shelters you in one season becomes the wall that traps you in the next, and your walls have outlived their purpose. My child, lay a portion of what you hold upon this altar, gold set on the scales of holy trust. Let it be a seed cast into deep water, an offering placed on stone, not clutched in fear. What you release does not leave your life. It goes ahead of you into the harvest I am preparing, and it declares that your confidence rests in my hand. The second seal is breaking. Your isolation is ending. I am bringing people toward you, and I want you to know what kind of people they are, so that you recognize them when they arrive. They are not people who will be impressed by you. They are people who will see you. They will notice what you carry before you have explained it. They will speak life into you in the plain, unremarkable way that changes a person over time. They will open doors that you could not have opened by effort or by asking, and some of them will do it without ever telling you they did. Some will arrive quickly. Some are already closer than you know, standing one conversation away. And most of them will not announce themselves. It will be an ordinary meeting on an ordinary day, and something in you will lean toward them without knowing why. Pay attention to that. Do not measure a new acquaintance by whether they impress you in the first hour. I have sent you help before in a plain wrapping and watched you look straight past it. But there is a condition here, and I am not going to hide it from you. They cannot enter a house that is already full. There is something in your life right now that has to be released, and you know exactly what I am naming. You felt it named before I finished the sentence. It may be a tie to someone who has never once pushed you toward what is good. It may be a habit that comforts you at the exact moment it is costing you the most. It may be a way of speaking about yourself that you have carried so long you have mistaken it for the truth about who you are. You have felt me ask for it before, more than once. Each time you found a reason to keep it a little longer. That hesitation is the delay you have been praying against. You have asked me to fill your hands while your hands were closed. I do not force my provision into a space that is already occupied, and I will not overwrite what you are still choosing. You must decide what stays and what goes. Until you do, the room stays exactly as it is, and you will keep asking me for something that is already standing at the door. There was a widow in a time of famine who had enough flour left for one final meal. She had decided how that day would end, and I asked her, through my servant, for that last meal first. It sounds cruel until you see what came next, because the jar she emptied never ran dry for as long as the drought lasted. She did not lose her last meal. She traded it for a supply she could never have arranged herself. That is what letting go looks like in my hands. It is not loss, it is exchange. And when you set something down for me, set it down completely. Half a release is not a release. I once led a whole people out of slavery, and they spent the entire journey talking about the food they had left behind. They walked toward freedom with their hearts facing backward, and that is why a journey of days took them years. Do not do that. Do not release the thing and then keep visiting it in your mind. Now hear the other half of this, because it is the part you will resist. When the right people come, you have to let them in. You have grown skilled at receiving help without receiving people. You will accept the meal and decline the conversation. You will let someone carry the burden as long as they never ask what is under it. If that does not change, the help I send will stand outside a wall you built in a season that is now finished, and you will tell yourself once again that no one really came. They are coming. Open the door. And there is one more thing about this seal that I want to say gently, because it touches the people you carry in prayer. Some of those you love are further from you than they should be. You have replayed the conversation that ended it. You have written the response you never sent. I am moving on some of those. Someone is going to come back, and it will not be dramatic. It will be small, awkward, and honest, and it will begin with a handful of words that cost them something to say. Not all of them will return. I will be truthful with you rather than comfortable. Some connections finish their assignment in your life, and chasing them has drained energy you needed for what is ahead. But the ones that are meant to be restored will be, and you will know the difference easily, because the true restoration will make you stronger, and the false one only ever made you smaller. Your loneliness is not your future. It was a season, and I am closing it. Now the third seal, and this is the one that has troubled you longest, though you have never had the words for it. The third seal was set over your purpose. This is why you have felt stuck in a life that looks acceptable from the outside. This is why you have done everything asked of you and still gone to bed with the sense that you were missing the thing you were made for. This is why you have searched for meaning in one place after another and come away each time with the same quiet ache. You have called it restlessness. You have called it ingratitude and scolded yourself for it. It was neither. It was a calling pressing against a lid. You have carried something from the beginning. Before you took your first breath, before anyone had decided what to expect of you, I marked you. I set an assignment on your life that no failure of yours has canceled, and no person has been able to take. It has been sealed, waiting, and you have felt the pressure of it every time your life grew quiet enough for you to notice. The first two seals cracked. This one does not crack. This one has to be shattered, and it will take more faith from you than the others did, because provision and companionship are things you can see when they arrive. Purpose asks you to move before you can see anything at all. I'm going to ask you to believe 3 things that your reasoning cannot confirm for you. Believe that you were made for something larger than what you are doing. Believe that I have a specific work with your name on it, and not a general one handed out to anybody available. And believe that you can step forward before the whole path is visible, because that is the only way any of my people have ever gone anywhere. Look at how it has always worked. A man was told to leave his country and go, and he was not told where until he was already walking. A shepherd argued with me at a burning bush for the better part of an hour about how unsuited he was, and every word of his argument was true, and I sent him anyway. A young man was hiding in a wine press, threshing wheat in secret because he was afraid, and my messenger greeted him as a mighty warrior. He looked over his shoulder to see who was being spoken to. That is what I do. I do not call the qualified. I qualify the called, and I greet you as what you are becoming rather than what you are currently managing. So the excuse you have prepared, I have already heard it. You are not the first to offer it. You are too old for a beginning, or too young to be taken seriously, or too damaged by what you have already done. You lack the training. You lack the confidence. You lack the kind of past that makes a person believable. I know. I knew all of it before I marked you, and I marked you anyway. And I am not in the habit of changing my mind about the people I choose. But this seal asks something from you before it breaks. You cannot carry the old season into the new one. That is not a rule I invented to make things difficult. It is simply true, the way a container cannot hold two different things at once. The mind you built to survive what you have survived is not the mind that can hold what is coming. It was made for defense. It is skilled at expecting the worst, at bracing early, at keeping hope small so the fall is shorter. That served you. It cannot serve you now. Let go of the fear that has kept you from moving, not the sensible caution that keeps a person from foolishness. I mean the deep, low fear that has answered every opportunity with a reason to wait. Let go of the doubt that has paralyzed you. You have been asking me for confirmation of things I have already confirmed 3 times, and you know it. There is a point where asking for more certainty is no longer humility. It is delay wearing better clothes, and let go of your need to have everything understood before you take a step. You are asking to see the whole road. You will not be given the whole road. You will be given the next step, and light enough for it. And that has always been enough for the people who actually walked. Now hear this. The 3rd seal is shattered. Your purpose is unlocked. From this hour, things are going to begin making sense that have confused you for years. You will look back at a season you called wasted, and see suddenly why you were there and what it put into you. Doors that were hidden from you will become visible, and some of them have been in your line of sight the whole time. Opportunities you passed over without a second thought will circle back, and this time you will recognize them. You are being moved into alignment. That word matters. Alignment is not a sudden leap into a different life. It is a small correction of direction that changes everything about where you end up, and you are being turned right now quietly, while these words are still reaching you. Do not expect it to feel like fire. Most of my greatest work in a person feels like clarity, not thunder. You will simply begin to know what to do. The fog you have been living in will thin, and one morning you will realize it has been days since you felt lost. And when the first step is shown to you, take it while it is still uncomfortable. Do not wait until you feel ready. Ready is not a feeling I give in advance. It arrives after the obedience, never before it, and many are still waiting for a feeling that was always meant to follow them rather than lead them. 3 seals are broken: provision, companionship, purpose. What was closed over your life is open, and everything I say from here rests on that. Now let me show you the shape of what I am doing, because you have been asking me to mend one corner of your life, and I am rebuilding the whole house. From the beginning I have worked in 7s, 6 days of making, and on the 7th I rested, not because I was tired, but because the work was whole. 7 has meant completeness ever since. It is my mark on a finished thing. And what I am doing in you carries that mark, which is my way of telling you that I will not stop halfway. I am not restoring your money and leaving your body broken. I am not healing your body and leaving your heart in the dark. I am touching every part, because a work is not finished with me until it is whole in every part. There are 4 corners to this house, and I am laying my hand on each one. The first is your spirit, and I begin there because everything else stands on it. Something went quiet in you along the way. You used to sense me easily. You knew when I was speaking, and you knew when I was not. And somewhere in the years of pressure and disappointment, that sense grew dull. You have not lost it. It was covered the way a lamp is covered, and the light did not go out. I am uncovering it. Your ability to hear me is being sharpened, and you will notice it first in small things, in a hesitation before a wrong step, in a certainty about a decision that had confused you for weeks. That quiet knowing is coming back, and it is the gift I most wanted to return to you, because it was the first thing you lost. The second corner is your body. Something has been wearing you down. Whether it carries a name that others recognize or whether it has puzzled everyone who has looked at it, I know exactly what it is, and I know where it began. I am putting my hand on it. Strength is going to return to you in the ordinary way, in mornings that are easier than the ones before, in a body that stops arguing with you at every step. Do not despise a healing that comes gradually. A slow healing is still a healing, and I often choose the slower road so that you are still leaning on me at the end of it. The third corner is your soul, and here is where the deepest work will be done. You have carried grief that you never gave a proper name. You have been sad in a way you learned to function around, so competently that no one thought to ask. That heaviness that meets you in the first minute of waking, before the day has done anything to deserve it, I am lifting it. I am not handing you a cheerfulness that has to be maintained. I am giving you joy that has a root, the kind that stays when the weather turns, the kind that does not depend on the week going well. And I am closing wounds that have stayed open for years because they were never brought into the light. You will feel this before you can explain it. Something in you is already lighter than it was an hour ago. The fourth corner is your household, everything you carry the weight of. Your work, your supply, the roof over you and the people under it, the debts that have shamed you and the needs that stole your peace. I am moving on all of it, not in one theatrical moment, but steadily, until you look up one day and realize the fear that used to sit at your table is no longer there. 4 corners, and my hand on each. That is what completeness means. Not one blessing dropped into a broken life, but a life made whole enough to hold a blessing. And I want to say something about the way it will arrive, so that you do not miss it while waiting for something louder. I rarely use the door a person is watching. I have many, and I tend to open the one nobody was standing in front of. My provision often comes wearing ordinary clothes. It looks like a conversation. It looks like someone remembering your name at the right moment. It looks like a small opening that seems too modest to be an answer to a prayer that large. Do not despise the day of small beginnings. What starts as a stream in your life is a river further down, and you will not recognize the source when you look back at it. I will not give you a figure, and I will not give you a date. If I gave you a number, the number would become the thing you watched, and you would begin to measure me by whether I met it. That is not faith. That is bookkeeping. And it has soured the trust of many who thought they were believing. What I will tell you is this: the season in which every month was a negotiation is ending. The season in which you carried it all alone is ending. The season in which you woke with dread already sitting on your chest is ending. And what replaces them will not be a brief improvement that fades by the next storm. It will hold. Some of this you will see quickly. Some of it will unfold over a longer season than you would choose, because I am not only giving you things, I am forming you. And forming cannot be rushed without ruining the shape. A tree that grows fast is shallow, and shallow things fall in the first real wind. What I am building in you has to bear weight, so some of it is going to take time. Be patient with the timing and be certain of the outcome. Those two can live together in you. In fact, they are what faith looks like when it has grown up. And do not shrink what I have said today into something small enough to be safe. You have a habit of reducing my promises so that you will not be disappointed. That habit has protected you from very little and cost you a great deal. Take this whole as I have said it. Speak your amen now if you believe I can make every part of your life whole again. There is something else I must tell you, because when 3 seals come off a life, a 4th thing is released, and few people are ever told about it. I am placing a drawing on you. Until now, you have had to chase. You chase the opportunity, the answer, the person who might help, and you were exhausted long before you arrived. That ends. What you need is going to begin moving toward you instead. Not because you have learned a technique, and not because you have finally become impressive enough. Because I have set my favor on your life, and favor pulls. It will work in 3 ways, and I want you to recognize each one when you see it. First, it will draw supply. What you need will begin to find you. Money you were not expecting from a source you had forgotten. Help offered before you had worked out how to ask for it. A provision that was sitting close by all along, hidden in plain sight until the day I let you see it. You will stop scrambling for what used to require all your strength, and you will notice some ordinary afternoon that a thing you would once have fought for simply arrived. Second, it will draw people. The right ones will find you. Someone will speak your name in a conversation you were not part of, to the exact person who needed to hear it. Someone will notice a quality in you that others walked past for years. You will not have to sell yourself. You will not have to stand in rooms performing a version of yourself you do not even like. They will be drawn to what I have put in you, which is a far better thing to be chosen for. Third, it will draw favor, and this is the one that will astonish you most. Places that turned you away will begin to welcome you. People who overlooked you will suddenly see you. Circumstances that stood against you will quietly turn and stand with you instead. A door that has been locked for years will open at a touch, and you will remember how long you spent pushing at it with everything you had. That is what favor does. It accomplishes in a moment what effort could not accomplish in a decade. But I must teach you how to walk with this, because it can be resisted, and the one who most often resists it is the one it was given to. Guard your words. You cannot draw toward you what you keep pushing away with your own mouth. If you speak lack over your days, you argue with the supply I am sending. If you say aloud that you will always be alone, you contradict the very thing I am doing. Your words have weight. I made the world with words, and I made you in my likeness. And what you say does not simply describe your life, it shapes it. So from this hour, be careful what you agree with. When fear offers you a sentence, do not repeat it. When you are asked how things are going, do not rehearse the whole catalog of what is wrong out of habit. Speak what I have said. Speak provision. Speak healing. Speak the opening of doors. Not because pretending changes anything, but because agreeing with me aligns you with what I am already doing. And now a warning, because I love you enough to prepare you rather than let you be surprised. When a life begins to move like this, resistance increases. The moment you started to believe what I have said today, you became visible to something that had been comfortable while you were stuck. It will not sit quietly. Expect it, and do not let it shake you. It will come first through people. Someone close to you will question your faith in a tone you have not heard from them before. Someone will make a joke that is not quite a joke. Someone will explain to you kindly why you should keep your expectations low. Some of them will mean well. Do not argue and do not defend yourself at length. Not every voice has earned your attention. Then it will come as disorder. Small crises will arrive at exactly the wrong moment. Something will break the week your hope was rising. A problem you thought settled will reappear. Hear me clearly. That is not my answer being withdrawn. That is noise raised deliberately to pull your eyes off what I am doing. Do not chase every disturbance. Keep your attention where I have put it. Take the opposition as a measurement, not a verdict. Nothing in the dark bothers to fight a life that threatens nothing. You have read your difficulty backwards for years, concluding from every obstacle that you must be unfit for this. The truth runs the other way. You were resisted because of what you would do if you ever arrived. And you are not fighting this alone or unguarded. My hand is over you. I have set a shield around your life that cannot be broken from the outside. No weapon shaped against you will succeed. No scheme built against you will stand. No word spoken over you in secret will take root, because I am your defender, and I do not give away what I have restored. One more thing before I speak about the days directly ahead of you. This did not come to you only for you. There is someone in your thoughts right now. A face arrived while I was speaking and you did not summon it. I placed it there. Someone who is where you were an hour ago, holding on with both hands, convinced that heaven has forgotten their name. What I have said today was meant to reach them through you. Carry it to them. Speak it in your own words, or simply tell them what happened to you in this hour. Do not keep for yourself what was given to be passed on. Remember what I did with 5 loaves and 2 fish. They did not shrink when they were broken and given out. They multiplied until thousands had eaten, and there was more left over than there had been to begin with. That is how my kingdom works, and it is the opposite of everything you were taught. Here what is shared increases, and what is hoarded quietly loses its life. You stand in a chain of blessing that was always meant to pass through you. Be generous with my word, and I will be generous in your life. Now hear me about the days immediately ahead, because what happens next matters more than you know. The 3 days after this hour are a window, not because I am bound to a number, but because that is how often my greatest works have turned on a third morning. A man lay in the belly of the deep for 3 days and came out with his calling still on him. A stone was rolled away on the 3rd day, and everything that had seemed finished was not finished at all. 3 days is the length of time it takes for a thing that looks dead to prove that it was only waiting. Something has been set in motion over your life. In these 3 days it will begin to take visible shape. And there are 4 things I ask of you while it does. The first is prayer, and I do not mean the formal kind. I mean speaking to me the way you would to someone walking beside you. Tell me what you are thinking as you think it. Ask me about the small decisions, not only the large ones. Prayer keeps the way open between us, and the moment you stop is the moment you begin quietly leaning on yourself again. I want you leaning on me through this, entirely. The second is gratitude, and here is the part most people miss. Do not wait until you see it to thank me. Thank me now before the evidence arrives. Thank me for the seals that came off today. Thank me for the supply that is already moving toward you. Thanking me before I have shown you anything is the clearest declaration of faith a person can make, and it moves my hand in a way that pleading never has. The third is expectation. Wake up looking. Go out through your door expecting something to happen that day. Answer when someone calls, expecting it to matter. Expectation is not foolishness. It is the posture that lets you recognize an answer when it comes, and many have missed the very thing they prayed for because they had stopped watching the road. The fourth is protection of what you take in. Guard your mind carefully through these days. Do not sit in company that drains your faith. Do not fill your quiet hours with words that stir up fear. Do not stay in conversations that leave you smaller than they found you. Everything you take in right now is either strengthening your faith or strengthening your fear, and there is no third option. Within these days, you will see a first sign. Watch for it closely, because it will very likely not look the way you imagined. It may be a word from someone you have not heard from in years. It may be an opening you never asked for. It may be an amount of money that arrives from a direction you had not considered. It may be a conversation that happens at exactly the right moment, or a burden that lifts overnight for no reason you can point to. It may even be quiet, only a settled certainty, where there used to be dread. When it comes, do not call it coincidence. You have done that before, and every time you did, you handed back a piece of your own encouragement. Call it what it is. Say thank you out loud where you stand. Let heaven hear you recognize it. And know that the sign is a beginning, not the sum of it. The first sign is my way of telling you that the rest is on its way. My child, listen to how this hour ends. Something has shifted. You can feel it, and you are not imagining it. You came into these words carrying a weight you had stopped noticing because you had carried it so long, and it is not on you now. The air around you is different. What has been set in motion cannot be stopped by anyone, including you on your weakest day. You stayed to the end. That matters more than you realize. Many walk away in the first minutes when a voice begins asking something of them, and you did not. You stayed, and in staying you showed me what you were willing to receive. So hear the last of it plainly. You are not forgotten. You never were. In the years when it seemed I had gone silent, I was closer to you than the people in the same room, and I was working in places you were not permitted to see. What you called my absence was my hand moving out of sight. You are not too far gone, and you are not too late. I have never once been reached too late by someone who was genuinely turning toward me. You are not alone in what is ahead. Every door you approach, I will be standing at. Every mountain in front of you I have already spoken to. Every low valley you walk through will lift you higher than the ground you started from, because I'm not simply watching your road. I am on it. The seals over your life are broken. The drawing is on you. Your season has turned. So go now with my blessing. Go under my protection. Walk in strength, and let it be a quiet strength, the kind that does not need to announce itself. Walk in peace, even before the circumstances agree with you. Walk in confidence, not in yourself, but in the one who chose you before you drew your first breath and has not changed his mind since. Do not let this fade when the room goes quiet again. Keep what I have said. Return to it when the days grow heavy and your sight goes short. Words that are not kept have a very short life, and I did not speak these to be remembered fondly. I spoke them to be lived. The greatest chapter of your life begins from this hour, not from the day your circumstances finally look the way you wanted. From now, from this turning, from the moment you decided to believe me. I love you. I have never once stopped, and I never will. If you believe your season has turned today, say your amen where you stand, and mean it.
We run on viewer support only. For exclusive member-only content, scan the QR or see the pinned comment. God bless you.